You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember last time you told me that we had incest inside our family. I was like, really? You are, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff
This
all
side ain't
over.
no. Then I found out that my dad's side is the exact same way. I was like, damn, really? Like, yeah, you got cousins that's sleeping with one. I was like, yeah, that's nasty.
Yeah, it happens, man.
I
It happens.
understand, they might look good, but no, that's still family. That's your relative.
Exactly. I say the same thing, bro.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
say the same thing because you know I remember. So hey, Irene, how you doing?
hey,
Good.
Miss
How you
Irene.
doing
Yeah.
today? How you doing, Lindell?
All right, all right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember. I remember when I was young, right?
Yeah.
I would say certain things, and people would be like, "Don't say that, man. You shouldn't say." You know, they would tell me how to act and all that. But
Yeah.
I thought they were stupid, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I didn't realize how many secrets like people keep as for family members and just you know for people that are in their lives. You know what I mean? Um, I don't think as far as I'm concerned, like family and mental illness, their personal things. They're not things that you need to be putting out like, oh, my mama, my daddy, you know what I'm saying? Because that's their
Yeah.
issue. I think for me, like, you know, if a person made it pass, you could talk about it, but I don't think that it's cool to talk about like people specifically, you know what I'm saying, unless it's you.
Yeah.
You know what I
Like
mean?
there's certain stuff that
Okay.
people you don't mind sharing, but there's certain stuff that people don't need to know. It's like there's
Yeah,
stuff that people need to know, then stuff like no, you don't need to know this.
yeah. But I think
Because
that
if I tell you, you're gonna look at it. So,
family should be telling each other what's going on in the fam, yo. I don't believe in that secret stuff, though, because you could be
yeah,
setting
yeah,
somebody up. You know what I mean? They
yeah,
don't even know how the person really is. They go there instead of you just saying, "Yo, this person has this problem." You be like, you know, they'll say stuff like, "Oh, you don't really want to be around them," and don't say nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Like, "Oh
yeah.
no, she's not what you think she is." You know what I mean? Instead of like letting you know the truth, what's really going on. You know,
But
I grew up thinking that everybody was an asshole. I did.
to a certain
Grew up,
extent, to a certain
you know,
extent,
I grew up thinking all these people are assholes. Every one of them, man. Thank you, you know what I mean? And now that I'm older, it went through my own bouts of mental illness. I truly understand like that if I was told what really was going on, you know, in my younger years, I think that it would have been easier for me to deal with my own problems. Like I would have been able to say, well, that's not normal. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Or you know, maybe this isn't the way it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Because I can remember my isolation issues was listen, nobody can isolate like Aaron, yo. I was when my mental illness went off, it was off. It was on for real. You know what I'm saying? I think the lack of knowledge that it ran in my family, you know, kept me down a lot longer where I had to, you know, I had to seek out ans- I had to seek out information that I could have already had answers to. You know what I'm saying? I could have
yeah,
I think that I would have known a lot better, you know, what I would my mental illness. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have been able to diagnose myself, but I would have known maybe I should go to a doctor. You know, it took a lot for me to. By the time I decided to go to therapy, I was way deep into crack cocaine, hardcore drug abuse. I was like deep into crazy, like you know, depression, like you know, damn near suicidal depression. You know what I mean? I had a lot of issues, man, and I didn't have anyone to really run to about them because they didn't know shit. You know what I'm saying? Like my siblings didn't really know about the mental illness that ran in our family. They couldn't say, yeah, you know what? That's probably you know like a so and so. You know what I mean? You might want to get that checked out. No, it was more like you being a whole ass right now. Oh, you're not strong enough to handle the real life and all that kind. You know what I'm saying? It was more of a strength versus weakness kind of an argument, rather than you may be mentally ill kind of an argument. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
thought my sister was a whole asshole. I used to think she was a princess, right? And then she kind of she did. She tricked me into going down south. You know what I'm saying? To be with her, and I can remember thinking that, oh, I'm gonna be with my sister. She's the best ever. I love her. Blah 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 blah. And then my mom saying, well, she ain't what you think she is, Aaron. She it ain't gonna be what you think it's going. Instead of just telling me your sister's crazy as hell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I know she
crazy.
told me things that happened to her, right? Yeah, but she never really, it was always mental illness was treated like a your problem kind of thing, rather than, it's a family problem kind of thing that exists throughout the family. And I think that my outcome would have been a lot different if I had just a little bit more information as to who I was. See, by the time I graduated from school, I had no idea who I was, like my background. You know what I mean? All I knew was at 10, I was sent to a boarding school. My family loved me. I loved them to death. And that's the only thing that mattered to me. Nothing else mattered. And then when I graduated, I came to the fam. None of them wanted me around. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them had real issues that I didn't know existed. And next thing you know, my issues were jumping off. You know what I mean? And I could remember thinking that like I can remember feeling so lost, like there's no way out, and my family is gonna just go on, and I'm just gonna somehow, some way die from this problem I had, because I thought it was just drug addiction, but I learned later on after, that in treatment, I learned that it was way more than drug addiction. It was like, it was a lot of trauma. It was a lot of neglect, abandonment issues. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of things that actually ignited some of my mental issues that I already had. You know what I mean? But I didn't know. And if it wasn't for, like, to be real honest, if it wasn't for my drug addiction, I wonder. I'm afraid I might kill somebody, yo. For real, just straight up. It was there, like it was there, and it was flaming, yo.
That's just the anger.
Yeah, the anger.
Because I'm pretty much I'm in the exact same way. Only difference is I ain't do drugs. That's the only difference. That's the only difference. But with the anger, the preparation of everybody, I pretty much the exact same mental illness, the same anxiety, the oppression. It's stuff that I pretty much lived the exact same style. I was going through that my damn self. I almost killed myself twice. 1 year. This is back in 2013, 2014. I almost tried that. And my anxiety, that's still there. They ain't never going nowhere. But my depression, I had overcome it due to my mental will to overpower it, not to let it get the best of me.
Yeah.
And most of it came from childhood with my mother. The stuff that happened to her, she ain't got over it yet. So she did the best that she could, but also did the worst. So that's come from that, and it's just everything that happens is pretty much like a learning experience. It helps build you somewhat.
Yeah. Yeah, once you get through it, if you get through it properly, because the one thing I realize now is that it ain't like it's gone. It's not like it's gone. It's not like, I'm cured. You know what I mean? No. Now I think I just have better coping skills now that I'm aware like of what's going on. Like, you know, because sometimes I gotta check myself. I gotta, you know, sometimes I was like, hold up, bro, that was a little much. That's you going too far, bro. You know what I mean? Sometimes you know you gotta. I have to like take a deep look and stop, like stop my brain. You know what I'm saying? I gotta stop and acknowledge. Okay, is this normal? You know, or are you going too far, yo? You know what I'm saying? And most times, it's normal to me because I ain't crazy for real, in my mind. You know what I mean? But to other people, from people on the outside, right? It's like, oh shit, you know. And I remember the reason why I didn't want people around me is because I didn't want to be.
Awkward.
I didn't want them to see it, right? I didn't want them to see it, and I didn't want to harm anybody. You know what I mean? I said if I stay by myself, no one gets hurt. You know, and I can remember that was a thing I felt it was the smartest thing to do for everybody's safety and for mine. But it was like kind of the worst thing to do because I never really like developed certain skills. Like it took me a long time to be able to talk to people, like just normally, like you know. I used to talk to people. I used to have my moments, but for real, it was hard for me to talk. My brain was like, this person don't even understand like real life and all that kind of stuff. Like they're not a real person. You know what I'm saying? You know, it was weird. I was so on the outside. Like I was so on the outside. I can remember sitting in the room and I was just totally on the outside. Like I was never a part of the the people around me. You know what I mean? And I didn't know that was some of my mental health coming out. You know, I thought that was just, you know, I was real and they wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I was real and they weren't. They weren't real people. I'm the only real person. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like that, you know?
You feel like you're outside looking in.
Yeah. And I'm right here.
Like standing outside of it, but it's happening.
Yeah.
You're not in it.
Yeah. And this is my other thing, right? I used to have this thing where I would disappear in the room. Now I know a lot of people say, you know, your big ass ain't disappearing, but I'm trying to tell you, I would actually kind of disappear in the room because I can remember being in the room, my big ass in the room, and teachers couldn't see me, yo. They'd be like, "Where's Aaron Redmond?" And they knew who I was. I was sitting right there, right in front of them. Right, like right in their little I guess
tunnel vision.
Yeah. I always found a way to kind of hide in plain sight. And you know, I can remember thinking I had some type of power or something because they couldn't see me. But really, it was a defense, you know, it's defense. I was on defense, you know. I learned that from when I was home, you know, the best way not to get your ass was to not be seen and not be like noticed. I learned how to hide, you know what I mean? It didn't work well, but it worked sometimes. And I got good at it, you know what I mean? But not from my family's point of view, but I got good at it with the people outside. You know what I'm saying? I could kind of hide amongst everybody.
Come on.
People wouldn't even know I was there. You know what I'm saying? People didn't know I was there. And I was like, I was happy about it because I didn't want to be bothered, but I was sad about it because it meant that I wasn't here. You know what I'm saying? It was a different experience. But now, now I still kind of don't want nobody to see me. You know what? When I go to work, I don't want nobody. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want no conversation for real. You know, only with maybe one or two people. You know, but for the most part, I really do my work and leave and never be bothered. Now I don't even want anybody to ask me questions. You know, but of course I get the job where a lot of people ask me questions. You know what I mean? What's weird is
Yeah.
I don't want it, but I like being the problem solver. I like it. I like solving problems, but I don't want to be like dealt with in a personal way for the most part. You know what I mean? I would just be happy if y'all just left me alone, let me do my job. I don't care about your lives, and I really do in a way where the God love thing and all that. But I kind of just want to stay out because I feel like if I let you in my life, you're going to turn out to be a horrible addition. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to have to include you. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to have to. I don't want to because I like just being by I like just being by myself. I really do. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But I work on it every day, man. I try not to, I do my music, you know what I mean? My music kind of make me a part of things in a different way that I can handle. It's more controlled for me, you know what I mean? But we all got our issues, man. We all got our issues. And when it comes to like mental issues, saying I'm just saying, I've said this before. When my mom told me about some things about my grandma, I was like, what? Why did you tell me this? We could have solved a whole lot of problems. I was mad about it. But you know what? It came from a time where you didn't talk about that stuff, man. You know what I mean? You didn't talk about that. There would be a price. There was a price to pay. For when people, there were mental issues in your family, you paid a big price. You'd be shunned. You know what I mean? You would be like, your fan, just because they heard that somebody in your family went to the psych ward, you would be shunned. People would call y'all, all of you crazy people, all that kind of stuff. But now, now it's like, now I'm trying to do more. I'm trying to be more. I'm trying to improve. You know what I mean? I think it's worth the journey to improve. After my bout, with death a few times in the last 6 years, I kind of decided that it's time. I don't want to leave like the legacy of who I was. You know what I'm saying? Although I love who I am. You know what I mean? I want to change a bit. I want to step out of that a little bit. I want to grow up a little bit. You know what I mean? I've talked long enough because I never talked this long. So I'm going to let somebody else go. And if you want to talk about how the secrets of mental illness in family or your family affected you or affected other people in your family, go right here. Who's next?
I guess. I guess their turn. I don't know whose turn.
I'll go there.
I think
Basically,
that,
I ain't. Oh no, go ahead.
gonna say, my mom was batshit crazy, but we never talked about it. And they say the first sign of recognizing a crazy person is that when someone tells them they're crazy, they'll be like, "I ain't crazy," and she used to do that all the time, crazily. So wasn't allowed to talk about it. I mean, I wasn't allowed. I was brought up. You're not allowed to talk back. You're not allowed to question. You're not allowed to be heard, let alone be seen. You're a child.
Yeah, that's how it was when we was young.
You are meant to be in the background, and whatever you have to say is not important. So I know it's. You said you went to Hershey when you were 10. I went when I was 15. So I was up there. My brother was 4 years younger. But secrets of mental health. I had child molesters in my family. I believe that's a mental health issue because they're not thinking properly. They can molest children. Um, but everybody kept the secret and everybody knew, you know, until it was their child. And even when it was their child, they're still questioning you. Like, are you sure? Well, I'm a child. How am I making this up? So, but it, even going through all of that and being a parent, I appreciate that I went through all of that because it taught me how to parent differently. And my children are important, and what they have to say is important. And I want to hear what they have to say, even when they don't want to talk to me, even if they just want to cuss me out. I want to hear what they got to say. I am very interested in knowing what their opinion is. And like you pointed out, you didn't know who your family was or what your background was. Yeah, I didn't know that either. You know, and that's harsh when I am now the matriarch of my family. So I don't have grandparents, I don't have parents. You know, I just lost my brother. So trying to find out my family history, what I don't know, I'm just not going to know. You know, and it was just something that wasn't talked about. Like I didn't find out my mom was married before she was married to my dad until after she passed away. But she was married before. I mean, she had a whole life. I didn't know who my mother was as a person before she was my mom. And that's sad. I only knew her as my mother. I don't know where she went to school, how far she got along, you know, how far she went in school, where she went to school. Like none of that. So I make sure, even if they don't want to hear it, I tell my kids everything. Because I'm not just your mom, I'm a human being. And I make mistakes. And I'm going to continue to make mistakes. But it's how you deal with those mistakes and move forward that, you know, teaches you how to persevere. Because the hiding stuff and keeping the secrets and making it feel like it's dirty, you know what I mean? Like it's your fault and, you know, there's something wrong with you. Like, there's no reason to pass that on, especially if you've gone through it. That's what I got for now.
You know, it's hard, like because you know it's a hard thing to deal with because you're like, are they just being an asshole, or is
They
this
were assholes. They were all assholes.
you know what I'm saying, or is this just a mental illness? And it's like it's hard to separate the two, like because for me, I'm like, oh, y'all just assholes. Y'all don't have to be like this, yo. Y'all choosing, but then there's like, you know. For me, I look at it this way: there's mental illness, and then there's the mental illness. There becomes a point to where you really lose control. But do you have to do? Sometimes I always felt like they have control. They just don't want to have control, and you know I felt like that for a very long time. Like and now I realize that, you know, your mental illness kind of is a part of you, you know, because it's your brain, you know what I'm saying? It's how you're wired. You know what I mean?
Mine is the opposite. My mental illness is the depression. You know, like I'm not gonna act out, but I'll really just go deep into myself and just shut myself off, and everything's okay. You know, like that commercial where everybody's holding that little smiley face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's just how I deal. Because nobody wants to hear your shit.
I felt that way too.
You know, they have their own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So just like I don't want to, don't want to be a burden.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I did that a lot. I did that a lot. I was really a self kind of people say,
Self-therapize. I
I,
self-therapize of all time.
yeah, I really kind of like, I felt that it was my issue and I didn't feel like anyone else should have to deal with it. You know what I mean? Because, but the truth is, no matter what you do, someone's going to have to deal with it. Because once you lose control, you know what I'm saying? So who's going to take? It's going to be a family member usually that has to deal with it. You know what I mean? So I felt what I learned is that I'm responsible for my mental health. Like I have to. It's up to me. I got to go to somebody if I have to go to somebody. It can't be, well, I'll figure it out all the time. It's just not realistic. You know what I mean? Because once you're in that point to where like there is no coming back, you just stuck here until it's over. There's no way to predict how far it's going to go. You know what I mean? So that's why it's good, like, to have people in your life that know you, that know you and love you. You know what I mean? And I had to learn how to open that up, like. And I guess what I'm trying to say is there has to be somebody in your life that's important enough that you will listen to them and you'll let them help you get out of your problem. Even if it's just a phone call. Sometimes my depression gets so bad that just a phone call turns it off. Like, because I'm not thinking about me, I'm thinking about the person I'm talking to. So my focus becomes on that person. And I'm not the type of mental health where I throw everything at that person. Like, that person is a problem. That person is this, and that person does this and that. What I'll do is I'll just, talk to them and to say hi, tell them I love them, and tell them it's a little rough night now. I ain't looking for nobody to solve a problem. Sometimes just being able to tell somebody how things are right now is enough for you to like step up. You know what I mean? So for me, the best way for me to deal with a lot of my issues, I really didn't learn in therapy, but the best way I learned was those 12-step programs where you had to talk about yourself. You know what I mean? And I think being that I was being honest because I had nothing to lose. Like it seemed like a lot of people in there had something to lose, but I had nothing to lose. I was at the bottom. I didn't know what's going to happen next. So I was doing it. I was following instructions. I was telling them, like, I feel stupid. I feel dumb. Or I feel like I'm going, I don't want to be here. I feel like hurting somebody. I just told them, and I just had some really good sponsors, that helped me out. And I had some sponsors that didn't help me out, because it just was too far past what they're capable of being involved in. You know what I mean? Everybody can't be your person to go to because they don't understand. Everybody don't understand. You tell them something, they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" They don't understand. They don't get it. And they don't even understand what words to use with you. You know what I mean? Some people think that if they do that tough love stuff, that don't work for everybody. That'll make somebody hurt your ass. You know what I mean? It ain't for everybody. You know what I mean? So, it's these self-therapists out there. Sometimes, you get people that think they're a therapist and they're not. Some of them have a degree and they're not a therapist for real. You know what I'm saying? So, you have to be careful who you bring in your circle because, a lot of people, I've had friends who were great friends. I love them, but I had to let them go because they were really bad for my mental health because they used to play on that shit, They used to think that was cute. There was nothing cute about it. Like, I would be even more lost getting off the phone with these motherfuckers, man. You know what I mean? And I just decided I got to cut that out. That got to go. You know, I can't have people who are into like helping me destroy myself or into destroying themselves and bringing partners in on it. I can't have that in my life. You know, my life is too short. You know, life is too short. You know, and you know, there's always like something to look forward to eventually. That's what I learned. Eventually it's going to get better if you stay alive and work on it. There's no promise that it's going to be wonderful. Real life is real life. You know, but eventually there'll be times like what I learned was no matter how low I go or fall, that there's going to be a moment that brings me back. There's always going to be a moment. There's always going to be some type of thing that happens. Shit, sometimes a song come on and I'm back. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's always something. You just got to wait it out and get the help you need. You know, at least that's my experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me when I get to a certain point, I listen to music. I can't listen to I can't listen to no other because that's not where my feelings is at. I need something that's like a rock and roll that gets my blood pumping, so it gets out of me. So I sit there listen to like some Linkin Park, some Breaking Bits, some Breaking Business, some Corn, stuff that's actually good. But this one song that stopped me from being angry, that gets me out of that mood. It's from y'all know this guy called Yanni, Yanni.
Yanni.
Yeah. This is the song that's called Night Guard. That's on the Congo horror movie. It's called Congo. They renamed it to Spirit of Nature, but it's called Night Guard. That's the song that normally gets me out of my anger, that gets me out of my little mood. That's my go-to song. If I'm to a point where I'm about to spaz out on any and just everybody, I just play that song.
Okay.
And that's pretty much gets me out of my mood. And I just happened to just stumble across it from my mom playlist. I was like, I actually like that song because it used to be a point where I just sit inside my room because I'm just angry to a point I just want to kill someone. So I just stay home. I tell all my friends to not come near me. I'm at my edge right now. I don't want to hurt nobody, so I'm just staying inside. So that song helped me out a little bit. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I stay inside my room because that's like my little cave. That's my safe place, away from hurting, away from everybody. So it's like that's like if I'm in the real bad mood, I want to take it out on somebody that's innocent because of my anger issues, or somebody else that pissed me off. I just go to my room. That's my little safe area.
That's what's up. You know, man. When I think about the country, right? I know it's weird, but not really weird because this country was made out of mental illness, man. I think this country came out of a lot of mental illness, man. Because, like, you know, they used to, you know, the people who were sent over here, a lot of them didn't want to come here. You know, a lot of people were escaping, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of them were like the dread of their society, you know what I'm saying? So they sent them over to America. So we got the best and the worst of people.
Like just like William Penn. It was totally
that
his father.
It was all the worst for the worst. It was watching all of it. Worst of the worst. Yeah, worst of the worst.
Worst of the worst, man. And they came over here with these crazy ideas and crazy thoughts and insane behaviors, you know, and somehow, some way, we got, you know, the country still survived, yo. You know, it was really not supposed to be the United States. It was supposed to be, you know, a sovereign, a sovereignty under England. You know what I'm saying? They were supposed to be on this whole joint. This wasn't supposed to be But you know what? They messed up because they sent the worst of the worst over here, yo.
just like Jamaica, they're supposed to be under Europe and all that, but they end up separating their own self.
You know, you put enough of us together, somebody's going to get sane enough to say, "Hold up." I mean, England. Just think about it. It was England, yo. They were like, it. They had the power. They had man. We I don't know. We just somehow, you know what I mean? But the one thing that I realized is that, like, even with a lot of insanity, there's a lot of intelligence, like high intelligence. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe the intelligence won over. You know what I'm saying? Over the insanity. So when you think about things like how the Constitution was written, it was a dream. You know what I'm saying? It was a dream that they couldn't even live up to. You know what I mean? Even though, us darker folk wasn't, included. But, it was still, even for those crazy people, it was still a dream, yo. You know what I mean? They didn't know if that shit was going to work. But somehow, at this time, we're kind of, I think, as a country, we're still dealing with our hardcore mental issues. But we still would say, so far, we've been able to stick together enough to say that anybody fuck with us, we'll fuck them up, Even though we hate each other, we'll kill for each other. You know what I'm saying? Just to have a place in this country, just to have a say, because this is our home. We talk about where we came from, but that's not our home. We don't know shit about that. This is where we come from, yo. This is
even
home.
They don't like us. Our own ancestors, people, they don't even like us.
You know what I'm saying? This is home. It's ours. You know what I'm saying? So we have to. So no matter how you feel about it, this is where you grow your children. This is where you learn how to deal with the issues of a nation, or even just family issues. We somehow, through our mental illness, to do this crazy ass country, still got together long enough to be willing to own it. Like this is ours, not yours. You know what I'm saying? So, and we still got it. It's still ours. In spite of all the insanity that's been going on for years. You know what I mean? In spite of all that, it's still our country, man. Now at this time, our own people are trying to break our country just to be in charge, yo. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like, I think there's going to come to a time where people are just going to say, no, you're not going to break it up. But for now, we got to deal with the insanity, man. You know what I mean? We got to deal with it. We got to face it, and we got to take it on and defeat that shit, yo. We just got to, as a nation. And it starts at home. It starts at home.
More people are buying guns, man. You got more militias out there that you never seen before.
Yeah.
Like militias. There's a whole bunch of mugs out there now. So, that's why I bought my. That's why I bought my assault rifles. I wasn't having it. So that's it.
Yeah. So what's your take on it, man? What's your take on the subject, Dre? You ain't really say nothing. And
growing up, it wasn't nothing really bothered me like you, Bub. I was as cool.
I was pretty much. You just wanted to always be in shit.
Yeah, I just always wanted to be in stuff, doing stuff, laughing and doing dumb stuff. It ain't really bothered me too much about some things. So I was pretty cool, and then, when I started really learning about life was when it was pretty much when I got married. That I got that, and you always knew. I mean, we learned like the racial thing we learned when we was young. Do you know what I mean? And how mom had to like talk to us So we wouldn't be growing up trying to kill every white person we saw, you know, to spat in my face and all that kind of stuff. So that kind of stuff sticks with you. But even with all that, when we was really young, you know what I mean, that even left me for a minute. You know what I'm saying? But one thing when I got married, though, one thing I didn't know, you know, mom always told us, you know, not to hit women and all that kind of good stuff. But I never in my wildest dreams thought a woman would hit a man. I never believed that when guys would say something like that. I never believed that. I always was with the women, and that kind of changed me. Cause now, like when women say they getting beat, I'd be like, well, what did you do first? You know what I mean? So it didn't the using thing and the arguing. It was just a real crazy time. And before that, you know what I mean, when I came home, you know, I just see my daughter born, you know, the first time seeing her and everything. And the thing that really got me messed up was when the guy who brought me home, to see I had to be here, my, you know, my wife at the time, here, and my daughter, you know what I mean? Me and him was really cool. Like, we was always joking around. And then, you know, I figured I'd see him next month and I was going to thank him, like take him out to eat, do some stuff, you know what I mean? And, but the problem was I didn't see him. So I was like, all right, but you know how you get busy and everything. But then come to find out, like when I went back the next month, you know what I mean? It was that same, yeah, it was the next month. It was the next month. It wasn't 2 months. It was the next month because I was trying to call him and I didn't get no answer. And I said, I'm going to go see him at drill. You know what I mean? And I said, yo, man, like, where's he at? Like, what's going on? And then that's when they told me that he got killed because he was going to tell on the drug dealers in his neighborhood to get him out. And they went and shot him in the back of his head. You know what I mean? And that's when my anger started, basically. Because he was such a good dude, you know what I mean? And doing stuff, and he's my boy, and they just killed him. And I was like, yo, and the shop that he was in, I was like, yo, let's go down there and go down to Philly. Let's kill all them fools. You know what I mean? Let's just go in there. And they were like, man, we already talked to his family and they don't want us to get involved. You know, because we was already talking about doing that. You know what I mean? So, because that's he was a Marine like us. You know, you ain't gonna kill one of us and just not have no retaliation coming back. You know, so we were all like young, most of us. Some other older guys, but most of us was young, and there was nothing. So we said we got to keep the family's wishes. We promised them that we wouldn't do anything, and that angered me. That angered me to no extent. You know what I mean? So, you know, you had that going on, and then, you know what I mean? Then, you know, the things with being married and getting through the divorce and all the lying and stuff, you know, and all the conniving and backstabbing. And that's when I just had not to trust people. You know what I mean? My trust in people just went. Cause now, you know, when people always come up to me, I didn't know, I wouldn't trust them at first. I gotta figure out what's your agenda. Like, you know what I mean? Like, are you cool? Are you trying to use me? Are you trying to get something out of me? Like, what's your agenda? You know, coming from Hershey, you know, you had some things, but when you come out to the real life, you be on hunky dory until you figure out how people really are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And being married and getting hit, that was just it. And then, you know, after about, and I remember, like, you know, I talked to her sister, one of her sisters, and I remember she said, like, you know, I already know that it's happening. I was like, how do you know? She said, because he told me, like, you know, I know that she said, I be hitting that boy. He don't even hit me back. Like, what kind of pussy, like, what kind of man is that? I said, well, God damn. You know what I mean? I was like, something's wrong here with her. You know what I mean? Like, who does that? Like, it was just crazy. And I was just getting crazy. And then, you know, then I started fighting her and all stuff. And I was like, this ain't good. Like, this, like, then I was trying to, like, see if we could get things working. But sometimes in changing a person to better can make you become a whole lot worse. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, and I was like, oh man, this is just not good. So I said, get divorced. I just gotta get out of here because it's changing me, and it's changing me not for the better. because I used to be trusting people. I used to not, but with her, like it was just a lot of stuff, like conniving and lying. And then when we got divorced, and all of a sudden, you know, I would be molested. I was all types of stuff. You know what I mean? In the courthouse and stuff. So I couldn't get my daughter. So I couldn't or child support. You know what I mean? All that stuff. And then sometimes I was the one who called the cops and went down there and got a protection order. But that was all during the O.J. Simpson time. So black man wasn't getting no. It didn't matter.
Black, you a murderer.
You're a murderer. Like, I was like, well, I told the judge, well, if I'm such a drug addict, I said, well, trust me now. You know what I mean? Test me now. Like, we only lie detector. Do whatever you need to do. And they was like, no. We gonna give it to you. I say, but I'm the one who called the cop. I'm the one who did that. Like, so my judgment, of course, and a lot of stuff this kind of went bad. But I was like, but I still had my faith. Christianity still made me like want to push forward. You know what I mean? And keep going. So I think like the one thing I was good with was I always wanted a son, but I was happy that my daughter was born first, because I remember the guys at the job, like, because like I was getting to the point where I was wanting to just kill them, and they just get too out of hand, like they just trying to hurt me. I remember the guy when they hit me with the van, you know what I mean? Just hit me with the van and we got an argument, like, you're talking about let's get outside the gate. I was like, sure, man, sure, ain't gonna take about a little bit of time. And then he hit me and I was walking out the gate, the boy hit me with the truck and I flew like 10 feet, you know what I mean? No, 10, 15 feet, I flew. And then I got right back up, you know what I mean? And I was just gonna kill him. I was like, I just wanna walk up and say, I wanna kill him. He just gonna die. That nigga try to kill me, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just got to die, ain't no rap. And the only thing that stopped me that day was thinking about that. So
Yeah, baby girls has that power over us. You think about adults, like
that was some hard time.
Yeah.
You know, I was like,
I had kind of not that kind of a similar situation, but sometimes them kids be saving the whole family, yo. They be saving them, boy.
Boy. I try to kill that dude.
Situation too. I did
arguing, and the anger stay in me. You know what I mean? Because I used to go, me and her minds get back and forth into it. I wanted to kill her. My daughter walked in, you know what I mean, and saved me again. You know what I mean? So I love my daughter tremendously. So, but now even we butt heads now. So it's just crazy. But I can't, like, the stuff with me in the military and stuff like that, I can't like be around craziness. I just can't. Cause that's why I never let certain people come to my house. You know what I mean? That do certain things. You know what I mean? Cause I gotta leave. I gotta get up and leave to the point. Cause I know if my anger gets to that point, I'm fine. And you threaten me to the point like I feel like my life is in danger, I gotta kill you. You just got to go, because one of us ain't going. If either one of us gotta die, it ain't gonna be me. You know what I mean? Right? It's like sometimes we get so bad, like while we want to hurt, when we get crazy, like them crazy situations like that. You know what I mean? I know as I got older, there's more things that are happening, and like me and my guys from the military talk about things. You know what I mean? Like I get anger, and then I gotta calm down, and I gotta leave. So I get up and I go. You know what I mean? But I gotta make sure I'm always on point, so in case anything do go down, I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? But some things, but when it comes to family and friends now, like, or people I meet, like a lot of them, I'm just not dealing with. You give me a little bit of headache, I just gotta let you go. I don't care who you are. Brother, mother, sister, daughter, whatever, whoever you are, you got to go. Because you're messing with my sanity. You know what I mean? To the point where I'm shaking, that's not bad. That's not good. So that's why we had the cookouts. That's why we have a good time. I see we're the same family, we're family and high school friends. We got the same group. We have a good time. That's what I need.
That's really good for the mental, man. That's really good. Like having people that are positive and that want to have a decent life like you do. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily your life, but they want an outcome that of love, you know. They want a love outcome, you know what I'm saying? A happy outcome of life, you know what I mean? That's some people don't, you know what I mean? Some people are still stuck.
Yeah, because I don't sleep well, you know what I mean? From military stuff, I don't sleep well. A lot of my dreams, most of my dreams be always about fighting or trying to save somebody, you know what I mean? Fighting for my life or trying to save somebody. Like 90% of my dreams is like that. Like, so I don't sleep too good, you know what I mean? Because of some of them cowards that was in the military I had to worry about that they was gonna run or, do some dumb stuff to let the enemy know where we at, you know what I mean? So I got some things that, I just deal with. You know what I mean? That's why.
Too, you know what I'm saying? You got some mental too.
You know, I go around my car, I my car. So I got a lot of things, like a lot of the military guys, we always talk about that. So, some things.
Let me ask you, do knowing about like the mental issues in your family, does that help you out at all, man?
Some things do. You know what I mean? Because I know certain ones in certain ways. You know what I mean? So I know certain ones, I just cut them off real quick. And either I don't talk to you for like a week or two, or maybe a year or two, or maybe just never. Because I know you probably ain't going to change, or I heard you haven't changed. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
It's very difficult to talk to someone still going through their thing, but not getting real help. You know what I'm saying? That's hard, man. That's what
no matter what you do, they just want to be hard headed, man.
That makes me right back to the way I used to think about people when I get there. I'm like, you're just a whole asshole, yo. You're just a whole piece of shit, yo. It takes me there, And then I try to correct myself because I'm like, come on, bud, come on, man. You come on. You gotta come on. It's not just them. I don't take away that they an asshole, but it's not just that they're an asshole.
No, it's not just them. But I know.
Yeah. But you gotta protect yourself.
Yeah, you ain't gonna like be pulling some triggers out of me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gotta protect yourself, man. That's the hardest part. I think the hardest part is like knowing that could possibly be their mental issue, but you still got to get away, like, because there's nothing you can do. You're not going to stop it. There's nothing. No matter what.
Talk to them so many times, and they're going to change. Like some
going to stop it.
Yeah, and you got some that like a lot of people come to me for advice about a lot of stuff. So I tell them about what they got to do, better themselves. You know what I mean? Or get away from that, get away from this person, get away. And they just keep doing it, and then they want to keep on coming back. After a while, I just stopped picking up the phone for them. You know what I mean? Like you knew
because a lot of times it feels like they're making you like you're kind of making you the sponge. You're the sponge. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give all this to you, and then I'm gonna leave. You know what I mean?
They don't change nothing. It don't change nothing. I was like, what the F, man? So now I'm just like, yo, you know what I'm gonna do, man? I'm just gonna let them beat them. You know what I mean? And I just tell them when they keep on calling me, I was like, yo, man, like we all told you, you know what I mean? We know, like we all know one of our friends, she just loved to keep going to, and I just try to tell her, like, you need to take time for yourself for a minute. Be by yourself for a minute. But then she has some abandonment issues. You know what I mean? So she don't never want to be alone. But I'm like, but you keep on picking the idiots that treat you like real shit. Real shit. And I was like, I don't know what I can do for you, tell you, but the one thing I'm not going to do is you keep on doing all this dumb shit and me coming out of my pocket or me coming down there to help you out. No, you're not going to use me like that. Like, I'm not going to be your crutch when shit goes to when everything goes to shit. You know what I mean? No.
Yeah. You know what I didn't realize too, what I didn't realize a long time. It took me a while to realize some people like the way they feel in that crazy, yo.
Yeah, they do.
Some people do, yes.
Yeah, they like that shit. It feels good as shit, yo.
Well, you know what it is too?
It's euphoric.
Some of them just euphoric. Some of them gets them off sexually, but I think a lot of it too is they're just too afraid for something good. They don't know how to handle it, and now they got to change to be that better person. You know what I mean?
Well,
They don't
I
know how
can
to
tell
handle
you
it.
myself, Andre. I can tell you from my own experience. That shit is hard, man. You know what? It's so much. I think it's so much easier to just deal with what you're familiar with. Like rather than go and get help, because I can tell you, man, some of the battles that I had with the some of my issues were like extreme. Like it was like it was dangerous. You know what I mean? But I can remember thinking, well, fuck it, I'll just go back doing what I'm doing, because I knew that I could survive that. That I knew. That I understood. That was it. It wasn't like healthy, but I knew that I could. That made me feel. It made me feel like I had some type of control rather than that crazy trying to fix this. Shit. You know what I mean? It was the failure. You know, when you try to fix stuff and you're always failing. That's way worse. It feels way worse than the actual problem that you have. You know what I mean? Because the letdown, the thought that it's never going to change, the feeling you get, like, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? It ain't not going to change any damn way. I might as well just be here where I'm at. You know what I mean? Because the pain, and the letdown is just. It's horrible, man. It's horrible. Yeah. It's very depressing. It's very scary, man.
When I get to those things, I gotta do something. I gotta call somebody. But the main thing is I gotta get up. Like I gotta do something. Like me, like trying to learn how to drive a stick for the trucks at the gas company. They look so bad that I was like, man, I'm probably not gonna pass this damn thing, and they're gonna kick me out of the shop. I gotta go back to going to people's houses where the management was acting so crazy. I want to go up there and just beat the hell out of them. You know what I mean? A lot of us did, because they were just acting so crazy. But I was like, man, fuck that. I'm determined. I'm going to get this shit. Like, I talked to the dudes. I was like, yo, tell me what I got to do. You know what I mean? Tell me what I got to do. Man, I was on that shit. You know what I mean? I was like, ain't nothing going to stop me. Like, when I get to a point where, it's something or nothing, like, I get the shit done. Like, fuck that. You know what I mean? So I made sure I got that shit done, and I passed, and I got it done. You know what I mean? But don't get me wrong, I wasn't scared or nothing, but I am. But I think the Marine Corps taught me that, like, you can have fear in some things, but you got to keep it moving. You know what I mean? But you also got to make sure you don't be around things that will make you doubt yourself, or around people that make you doubt yourself. You know what I mean? But certain things you just can't hide, like my nightmares when I'm sleeping, you just can't escape that shit. Or some things you just keep on flashing back in your head from the military days, or from other people on the job, from other stuff you see, like it just comes back. But you gotta talk to somebody, you gotta do something. You know what I mean? And
you gotta develop some type of coping skills, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard day by day, but the one thing I know I can't do is be around people who are going to piss me off to the utmost, because then I'm a snap, and I can't afford that. That's why usually you see me in the house, unless I got to go help somebody do something. You know what I mean? So anytime I go out, you know what I mean, and I don't be out long, and I'll be right back in the crib. Like, people are just crazy.
Safe,
and that Trump shit did not help my. It just made me 10 times more. That Trump shit made me 10 times more. I mean, he's like, you bought 2 rifles already? I was like, the first 2 weeks, I bought, 2 rifles. And
you all right over there?
Yeah, the power went out.
The power bill.
The power went out.
Oh, your power's out?
The power went out. The power went out for like about a couple of seconds. You see everything go out, come back on, right? The power went out for a couple of seconds.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I mean, I gotta figure out what's going on.
Well, at least if it came back on, it means it isn't someone trying to steal power. Because when they steal power, they go off, all the way off. They stay off. Yeah. But it looked like he froze. Did you?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
probably on his Wi-Fi. That's probably why he
Rifle.
froze like that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, back on the subject. Oh, there he is. There he is. Yeah. Well, back on the subject, right? Back on the subject. We were talking about like family secrets of mental illness and how it affects you and those you love, and I'm glad that we had this. You know, we're kind of at the hour, but you know, we can still talk on it if you want to, man. I just like talking about this because I know I'm crazy. I like talking about crazy people because I know I'm part of it.
We all know what I'm a
Damn.
part of too, as well, growing up.
That's
So
right.
Me and you both are right there.
no,
Right
not
now.
you, boy. You was the favorite, so I don't want to hear nothing from you.
No. I wasn't really the favorite now. You made thought I was the favorite, but I wasn't really.
He was the scapegoat. He was the
Pretty much. Pretty much. I was the money. So yeah.
Woo. And you know what? I think about stuff like that too, right? You know, we be like, you got to be a whole piece of shit, man. But you kind of got to be crazy as fuck, yo, to do that. You got to
No.
be crazy.
You gotta
That's
be
why I
highly
forgave
intelligent and crazy.
There you go, both, yo.
That's why I had forgave her because I know she's not mentally there, even though she won't admit it. But at the same time, it's not really hard. It's not really her part. But
It ain't hard to see for family members. So I'll tell you that shit right now.
Yeah. But at the same time, that's just her issue. So therefore, I was like, I gotta let you deal with your issue. I could forgive you, but you know, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I know what not to do.
I ain't forgiving shit.
We already know, light skin. We already know, light skin.
He get that.
Nothing. I just don't want to see it.
Right.
I heard mom in that tone, yo. I heard mommy. He said,
I don't think
that's the one lesson I learned.
Right.
It's all good. But, do you have anything subject you want to speak on, or you good, bro?
I mean, I got on late. I fell asleep a little bit, so I woke up like, oh! I saw what time it was. I said, let me go ahead and hop on and see what y'all was talking about. But as far as that goes, you know, I grew up with that, and I dealt with it a little bit myself, you know. And I don't like talking about it sometimes.
You know,
me and my wife talked about it all the time, you know, our upbringing and how it affected us growing up. But
you ain't gotta talk about if you don't feel like, bro.
no, it's not about that. It's just that sometimes it takes you back to when you was a child when it happened. You know, it takes you back in the moment when it happened sometimes, you know. And that was a very dark place growing up. It's to the point where sometimes I regret not saying anything. I mean, I still could say something, but what would it do now? Because the person that did it is not going to admit it, and then B is going to glance over it as if it was nothing anyway. Because when you're the one that ran the foul, all you want is everybody to forget about it and move on. When you're the person that ran the foul, but when you're the actual victim of that, you want people to validate your feelings.
Remember all it.
You know, you want people to validate your feelings.
Yeah.
So it's a catch-22. Oh yeah, I'll validate your feelings, but guess what? This is what I was going through. So now I'm the victim as well.
Yeah.
So it's just a trickle down. So it's just like, it's just forget it. You know, and you really don't forget it because it could be a song, it could be anything someone does, and it'll trigger it all over again.
Yeah. Yeah, I go.
It could be something it could be a smell, a song, something somebody says, And it'll bring you back to the
Whatever.
moment all over again. This is like, damn, I can't get away from it. So
Well,
all you
that-
can
It's a
do is
regular thought.
that part of that character that comes out that's that you're so familiar with, in an abusive way that every time you see it, it brings you right back, like it's right there. You know what I'm
they
saying?
never. That's how you know you never got over it. That's how you know you never got over
You got
it.
over it. You never really get over it. Like a lot of people be like, "I'm done with this." Over? No, nigga, no. No, it's just that one smell, that
I'm
one.
saying, that's what I'm saying. One smell, one song that was playing, a tune, anything
Anything.
to trigger it.
You know what I'm saying?
Anything
Right,
can trigger it.
bam, right there in the room again, right there with that bullshit, yo. Years, because it didn't happen one day. It was years.
Accumulation of all that stuff.
And that's why I don't get mad at my mom when she says she don't remember, because there was so much of it. You know what I'm saying? There was so much of it.
How do you pinpoint one situation if it's all the time? A
You know what I'm
constant.
saying? Yeah, you know what I mean? So I said, damn, I'm just gonna have to forgive her, because I can't.
Same here. The one thing that
I just gotta be all right, yo.
That's the exact same way.
Because guess what? It ain't gonna change. That's not gonna change. It's never gonna change. It's always gonna be bad.
And meanwhaile, the person is living their life like that never happened.
Yeah.
No,
one thing that I was told.
Mom will admit to something. If she remember, Mom will admit up to it. I'll say that.
Mom will now. She's almost dead, yo. She's 80 something.
She remembers, she had to go.
It took a while to get there. It took a long. You know what? And I will say this, right? I will say this. Some things I had to demand that my mom admitted. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes even now. Sometimes, you know what I mean. But I know why. I know why it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's hard. You got to reach back in your thoughts. You got to go back to all that stuff you did. You know, that you try not to remember because you love this person, yo. And they you know, and they're like, I try to keep in mind that they're persons, they're people. They're not abused. They're not just a person who did this abuse. They're people, you know. They get, you know, they forget and remember just like we.
Well, my thing, a lot
One thing that
how Mom had to go through, because you figure Grandma was around during the slave days.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how her mindset had to be. Grandma's mindset had to be going down there, seeing mothers getting burnt to death, seeing mothers getting hung, castrated, getting beat, whipped. I mean, you can imagine what that is on somebody's psyche. You know what I'm saying? And then passing that on the her kids. You know what I mean? Grandma had some stuff going on. You know what I mean? Grandma was always a loving person to us. I would have never knew none of that stuff until Mom told us.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Thank God she told us, because nothing made sense to me. The way we are didn't make any damn sense to me. You know what I'm saying? We used to say stuff like, you know, with the angels and devils, well, the devils just all up. You know what I'm saying? We didn't say that it was mental illness and that we was going through it because we was crazy.
Well, you know, and then you gotta remember, like back in those days, Mom days, Grandma days, you didn't go see nobody. You be outcasted,
especially if you black. Yeah,
no, you definitely didn't do that. If you black, you be ousted. You know what I mean? So, you know,
they just lock you up and kill you.
Grandma had to figure out things on her own. Mom had to figure out things on her own, and be able to do things on her own. You know,
and that's why I don't get too angry no more, because I think once we were able to start being honest with each other, it made things a lot easier. It opened up like a lot of things. Like you were able to forgive because you realized that you got the good shit.
Yeah.
You got the good shit, yo.
Mom said the best thing that happened when she became a psychologist, because that made her go back to her childhood, made her go back to her things, and then she could see where she messed up at. You know what I mean? Which is like anything. You know what I'm saying?
All of us.
It's like all of us. You know what I mean?
We look at our parents and our uncles and aunts like they're gods when we're kids, yo. You know what I'm saying? And then when we see that the flaws and realize that they're just human or not even as human as we thought they were,
Yeah. Well, some of them wasn't taught a
destroys
lot of
us.
stuff. I just say mine was bad with the money, but I mean, I understand because ain't nobody teach black people how to be great with money, how to do their money right. You know what I mean? Well, poor people, period, or black people. How the they don't teach how
Truth
to
is, a
be
lot of us don't know our
black
history. You know what I'm
people.
saying? So we don't even
Mm-hmm.
know that we
Mm-hmm.
ever had money. We did at one time. We had that shit. We was good like that, but we didn't know because that
And then
was
the white man killed us off and burned us
no
down.
idea who we
Yeah, then the
were.
white man killed us off.
You know
The
what I
white man
mean?
killed us off, burned us up, killed us up, and then stopped all that every time. Stopped it all
Every
every time. So
every time there was
that that
every time
that
there was
that
pride,
alone will do a lot
like
of stuff.
the white people would just go and kill us and take out whatever wealth they could. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. So that gotta be, because you gotta imagine that. Imagine how many times grandma saw that. You know what I mean? And mom.
And
Mom was born in 39. So
yeah,
you can imagine what she was going through.
yeah.
Stuff she told us. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, man, I ain't. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff, man. So,
We come
but
from a crazy life in a crazy country, man. You know,
mhm,
the secrets of our look. Just think about the secrets of our own country. How much they affect us, yo. And these are
mhm.
that have been there since the country been put together, yo.
And look at now, man. What they trying to do now to the women now, man? They're the abortion, no contraception. You go straight to jail. You try to get divorced. Crazy, man. They back to trying to control people again. You know what I mean? So, but I
I'm
ain't.
not for the abortion
They-
stuff, but I understand for the abortion, but I'm not for it because some females get pregnant on they get pregnant on purpose so they can get the abortion, which is stupid to me. Where you got females who actually been through something that needs the abortion, you're making them
Exactly.
they're making
Look,
them
look at this. Every
look
time
bad.
something came that would help
Didn't
someone,
say anything this whole time, but I feel like with the abortion thing, no man should be able to tell you nobody, period, should be able to tell you what you should do with your body. And they're trying to say, if you get raped, you still gotta have that baby. And it's a shortage
yeah,
on formula.
Yeah.
So it's not making no sense. It's a shortage on formula right now and everything. So it's not making no sense. Like none of it's
What's not
making any
making
sense.
sense is they're saying, make abortion illegal, but they're not coming up with a solution on how to take care of all these children or unwanted children. You already have so
Right.
many unwanted children in this world, so many homeless children. You have so many homeless people.
Mhm.
And you're like,
Mhm.
well, you're going to make, so now you want to bring, and
More
I mean,
people
I'm
in
not
here.
saying that you want to bring unwanted children into existence. How is that going to make this any better?
Right.
I'll tell you
You're going to
what, the
go back to
abortion,
women trying to
what it
give
is.
themselves abortions with hangers in an alley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
50s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Yeah, 50s and 60s. Yeah. Well, the thing is,
And
too,
babies getting left anywhere and everywhere.
abortion started with the Republicans because when they couldn't do the racism no more, the abortion was the thing for the religion. They knew people no matter what religion they did. A lot of them going with their abortion, so they know they can get people like that, especially their people. So, they could do that, and that's how they united. And that's the only thing if you notice, that's only been their platform since the 60s, 50s, and 60s, when they was losing all the races because of, racism. So that was their only thing they could stick with that, So, but my thing is with it, if you're gonna do that, then if you're gonna try to make them all have babies, then you should be making all the fathers pay for this stuff, and if they don't, and then all these men that keep on having all these different babies, then you should make them make them get their stuff snipped so they can't have no more children. You know what I mean?
Both sides for me.
Or if you want to make the woman have the baby, then the man should be paying for it. If not, then he should go to jail for every month you don't pay. He should go to jail for a month. That's it. And like a lot of things will change, but like I always say, if you want things to change, then women better just get up there and start getting in the office and start doing stuff. Well, that's not going to happen because I figure if that law gets passed, you know, the states are already, some of them, all the Republican states are already ready to do their thing. But if that passes, only thing that's going to happen is it ain't going to last long because the only thing that's going to happen is you can go to another state next to your state to get the abortion, Democratic state, one, because, you know, even though they pass a law, you know, it's still up to the states what they want to do. So, and then another thing, Biden will just put more judges on the Supreme Court. You can put up to 16, you know, because Congress determines how many you can have on a Supreme Court. So right now it's 16. So he'll just add more.
Wasn't the vote like so overwhelming? It wasn't just what was the vote? I mean, like how many people were against?
Like, it was like 51, 52 to like 49 something or 47.
For what?
No, I'm talking about how many people like were in the Supreme Court. Like how many of the judges were against and how many was for?
Well, you got to figure like 6 of them are Republicans, 3 of them were Democrats.
What was the vote?
Oh no, they didn't do nothing yet. The vote's supposed to happen. They ain't do nothing.
They're still making up their mind. I thought they said that they were going to.
No, but I said even if they do pass it, all thing Biden has to do is put
dismiss it all together. I thought they dismissed it all together.
I don't know.
That's what I thought.
No, they were still talking about it.
Dismissed it all together, Dre.
Are you
Because
sure?
it was the vote. The vote was like.
Yeah, I thought they said that it's not that it can't be enforced anymore because we don't see it as a real law. Like
when did that happen? When did that happen?
That's like this month or last month.
Yeah,
it wasn't no last month. No, it wasn't no last month.
I think it was this month. Recently,
a couple of days ago, because it had to be a couple of days ago.
No,
because they're still talking about that.
Like a week.
Recently. So,
are you sure?
I think so. Yeah. I could have sworn they were saying that it's final. Like the Roe versus Wade has been overturned. You know what I'm saying?
No,
but they're still fighting. But they still trying to do it. But it's like it was overturned. But they're still trying to do it to where it's the government gonna just give it.
I don't think so.
And make it a law.
I guess we better look it up and find out more. You know,
I ain't because you know me and my
politics. I'm still against it because I really don't like the fact you wait till the baby gets the ED level just because I'm still against it.
For me, I'll tell you how I feel.
Somebody that been raped, I understand. I completely understand. You have every right to do that because your innocence was taken from you.
For me, look.
For me, I don't care. Like
honestly, personally, I don't care if you get an abortion. That's your problem. But morally, for me, I think that the problem with I think a lot of the problem with it is that it's abused a lot. So I can't. I don't know. I don't know what the real answer is. For me, I don't think anybody should be getting an abortion, in my opinion. But I don't think that right should be taken away from anybody. You know what I mean? You live with what you do. You gotta live with all that shit, yo. Somebody, no matter what, the mom gotta live with all that. A whole lot of them will just one. She gotta live with it.
Thing is, religiously, yeah, I'll say that as a Christian, yeah, don't like abortion. But my thing, you should never be able to tell somebody what they can do with their body. You know what I mean? That's my thing. I don't care because ain't nobody gonna tell me I gotta get my stuff snipped or something. Ain't nobody gonna tell me I gotta do this or do that with my body. I'll be done killed everybody. That ain't happening. So if I was a woman, I'd be up in arms, man. Like, how you gonna tell me what to do, what I can and cannot do with my body? Like that's crazy. Next thing you know,
my only thing is, if you're gonna do it, you should be paying for it out of pocket. I don't think that we should, because I don't think that should be something a government has any say over. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's something you and your insurance can talk about. I don't think the government should have a say over any of that. You know what I mean? Because everybody's situation is different. Like it's not no one fits all thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's not always about poverty. It's not always about how you got the baby. Sometimes it's just a personal choice. I don't know. I personally, I think it's the wrong thing to do.
I think,
but I feel like who am I to tell somebody they gotta raise a whole child? And but first of all, I don't, you know what I'm saying? So many problems come from people having babies out of wedlock. So many things happen, like when you're just a single parent, you know what I'm saying, and you got to raise these children. There's so, you know, the child is born with half a family, yo. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have that other support, you know, that other support a lot of times. And I feel like if you're going to bring a child in the world, like it should be guaranteed that the child have two parents, not just one. You know what I'm saying? So I, you know, a part of me, I morally, I'll be like, no, that ain't right. But for real, and this is the real world. My morals don't matter. You know what I'm saying? My morals don't matter when it comes to somebody else's health choices.
Mm-hmm.
You
But
know?
I feel though the reason why they're doing it because that unites their base. One. Second reason they're doing it because now they talk about no abortions, no contraception, all that kind of stuff. What?
Oh, no contraceptions.
That was one of
Yeah.
some of the states are doing that too. Yeah, it's no contraception too, bub. Yeah. So you know what that is. And then if you abort the baby, it's automatically murder. So what that is, them and the private sector who controls the jails are all working together because now you'll be going to jail and now that gets now they get paid. And that's all it is. It's all about the money at the end of the day. That's all it is for the private jail.
And you can bet your $1 that it will not be enforced the same.
No, hell no. It's going to be mostly people of color going to jail.
It will not be enforced. You know, a black woman going to that court ain't going to have the same resources as a white woman with money and backup. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely not.
You know what I'm saying?
We already know how
it's going to be the same. It ain't going to be enforced. Just like a lot of laws are just built for just us. You know, just us. You know what I'm saying? If most of us, if it's most of us, then the law will be made for it to be, you know, with great penalty. You know what I mean? So I just feel like, you know, you just gotta you can't let people like be that much in charge of other people's health and life. You know what I mean?
No, that's why you gotta. I think with that coming out, I think what we're gonna. I feel as though with that, only thing them dudes pushing that is just helping us in the fall, because they're gonna lose a lot of seats, man. They don't know. Women are like they the most ones who vote, so the most ones who vote, and women outnumber men. So I was like, that just works for us in the long run because they just gonna be losing, you know. So
yeah, I think it's not the smartest move.
And I think a Democrat made sure he put that. I think Democrat took that paper and took it and put it out in the public just for that reason. You know, because they said, "How did that get out?" Oh, I know how it got out. Some Democrat found out and they said, "Oh, you know what?" Boop, and put it out there. That's all. The win.
What they own people. What they own people. No, they own people can also do that too.
Hey, well,
they'll just fly you out the country and don't let nobody know you pregnant. You walking around with your belly all out, talking about I have a condition.
See, even though it's that, the Republican states own the governor states will do that, but the Democrat governor states, they're not going to do that. Like, so what happens is people going to have to do, they're going to have to start, you know, crossing state lines to get what they need to do. You know what I mean? And that's all.
That's all it is, man.
Because I know I talked to what's your name in Vegas, Bridget. She said here in Vegas, man, everything's for like the people. We don't have half the stuff that y'all have over there. So it's all for the people, a lot of the stuff. That's why a lot of people move to Vegas, especially like women. You know what I mean? Because a lot of women rights are over there, you know, but that's. And he said, and they work together, like the Democrats and Republicans kind of like work together to get stuff done into the state constitution, where you can't, like, even though it's passed by the court, whatever, they don't have to worry about that. You know what I mean? So it's how it's gonna be. Yeah, so but I'm
You
not
know
too
what kind
worried
of
about it
state
because
we
no matter
come
even if
from,
it gets
yo.
overturned,
You know what kind of state Pennsylvania is? The Quaker
yeah,
state,
but I
baby.
ain't too worried
Oh,
about it. Like I said, even the Supreme Court went against it. The only thing was going to happen is Biden's going to get he's going to put some more of his own people on the Supreme Court. He'll probably put up to 16. You know what I mean? Make sure that thing stayed democratic.
man,
And
this
then
is
you would do that. And
crazy, man.
yeah. And then he would get everything changed back. That's all.
Crazy
You know what I mean?
times,
That's all.
man. I would have never thought America would be like this, yo.
That's why I told people, I said, I hate Hillary. But I told her, you better vote for her because if Trump gets in, they're going to own all three sections, in government. President.
Then that's when the whole crazy come out. The whole crazy come out.
And right, and that's
You
what
know,
he should.
you know how people
That's
act
what
when
he
they
should.
got you now. Yeah, I got you now, nigga. I can do what I want, yo. I can do what I want. You know what I mean? That's when the book
And
comes out. Crazy stuff
and
comes
that's what
out.
happened. That's what happened, man. Yeah, that's when I'm gonna go
You know what?
So
We are way past the hour. We ain't even talking about the subject no more. I want to close this down because I got things to do. I'm a man. I'm a busy man. I thank all y'all for coming, y'all. I thank all y'all for coming. Thank you, Jazzy, for opening your mouth. That was nice. I appreciate it.
Oh, that's cousin Jasmine. Assalamu alaikum,
Yes.
cuz. I was like, who the hell is Jamal Rick?
All right,
That's
everybody.
my
I'll talk to y'all later. I got to get out of here, man. I love y'all. I'm going to wave y'all out. Have a good one.
I love y'all too.
Stay safe and
All
love
right,
you.
everybody.
Night, guys.
All yours.
All right now.
Bye.